So here we are 5 years since the Panthers have last had a Monday Night Football game at Bank of America Stadium. They are playing the New England Patriots tonight. The game will start here in just a couple of hours. I'm here along with Dustin Phifer. Dustin, let's go ahead and talk about the energy that is around the stadium tonight at the game.
Man, what a lot of energy. You can see the people walking in behind us to the stadium. They've been told to get to their seats early, Chris, so we can get this crowd going. But what about the energy throughout the day? I had people texting me at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. this morning, already out there tailgating, ready to go for this Monday Night Football game. And then we see it coming to the stadium, people saying, hey, stop by our tailgates as we're walking up to. I mean, it is just electric out here right now. And like you said, Chris, we haven't seen this in 5 years. And tonight is going to be a special night right inside of Bank of America Stadium right here.
Yeah, you know, our studio is right by the stadium. And I noticed about 11 o'clock, the campers and the RVs started pulling in. So I've seen people in their jerseys all around town today. So it's been a good sight. We're going to talk about a few points about the game tonight. We both made predictions about 6 weeks ago on if the Panthers would make the playoffs or not. We both were in agreement that they weren't. So let's revisit that now. What do you think about their playoff chances?
Well, I think any NFL team at 1-3, Chris, people are probably going to say they don't have a good chance of making the playoffs. So I'm not going to hate on us too much for that prediction.
Right.
I will say that before the season, on record, I predicted the Panthers to make the playoffs.
You did.
So I'm going to hold on to that for right now, even though I switched it. So I flip-flopped a little bit. But, hey, they're playing well. 5 in a row. They beat a good team in San Francisco on the road last week. Now they come home. The only game on TV, I've talked about it all week on video, the only game on TV tonight in front of the world, so everybody's going to be watching you. It's a chance to really put your name on the map, get back in prime time, and show that not only you're a playoff contender, but if you win this game, people might call you Super Bowl contenders because there's not a lot of great teams in the NFC right now.
Playoffs?
I definitely think playoffs, even if they lose this game, they control their own destiny in the playoffs. So I don't want people to say if we lose this game, it's the end of the world. You know, hey, you split with two good teams, San Francisco and New England. So you get one of those two. We won last week. If you win this is a bonus. If not, you're still in the hunt for the playoffs. But like I said, you win tonight, forget playoffs. People on national stages are going to talk about you as a possible Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you, and I got grief from friends as well. Say, man, you and Dustin were hard. You're saying they're not gonna make it, but at that time, Ron Rivera was in his rut. He would do the same thing no matter what, and then it all clicked, and he's been a different guy. So I too say that they are definitely in position to make the playoffs. I said they're going to make the playoffs this year.
He's a different guy with a different name. He was Ron Rivera back then.
Right.
He's Riverboat Ron now, and I'm sure everybody around Charlotte knows that name. He's a gambling man. He's going for it on fourth down, getting it every time.
Do you like that name?
I love that name.
I don't like it.
You know why? He's changed how he's coached, Chris. He's being aggressive, and he knows to win games, you can't go out there to play to lose. You got to go out there and roll the dice, and he's putting it in his players' hands, and they're executing.
All right, then the other thing, we talked about your take on the key players for the season. You said Cam Newton, Steve Smith, and Luke Kuechly. So it looked to be holding true. They're all pivotal guys.
You know, I went the obvious route. People are going to say, hey, you picked the 3 easiest guys you could pick, but those are the guys that make impacts. We talk about Luke Kuechly. I still think he's number 1 out of those 3 guys. The guy is in position to maybe win NFL Defensive Player of the Year a year after winning NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. So what this guy is doing is incredible. We saw him in a preseason game against Baltimore when the same crew on ESPN, Mike Tirico, John Gruden, were calling the game, and he went off. I know it was preseason, but it was on a national stage. He has that same opportunity tonight. If he goes out there and plays like he's capable of, he'll really put his name on the map even more in a case for Defensive Player of the Year. So he is definitely leading that defense. As far as Cam goes, definitely been playing well after a slow start. People were wondering about him after 3 games. Is he the right guy for the job? But he's settled in. He's playing better. He's not turning the ball over as much, Chris, and that's a key for this team. So that's what he's got to do tonight, is not turn the ball over. And finally, Steve Smith, the veteran, trusty. You know, he hasn't had the biggest.
It seems like he's had I don't like to talk about the guy because I see him every day in the locker room, but to me, Steve has not been the old Steve this year.
Well, he's still the old Steve, because when he goes out there on the field, you see him every week in a
He's had a lot of drops.
He's back. He's had a lot of drops. He's backing up his.
I hope he doesn't watch this,
but he's backing up his teammates on the field. Though we still see that same fire in him, but I think he has more of an appreciation for the game after being in the league for so long. But you're right. The last couple of weeks, very uncharacteristic in the drops. That's something that can't happen tonight when Cam looks his way. But Cam knows this guy's been around. He can get it done, and Cam's not going to shy away from throwing him the ball in a big-time situation.
Hey, I know we don't have a stat guy, but I wonder if Ginn has had less drops than Steve.
I would say it's probably about even, because you got to remember a couple weeks ago, Ginn dropped a wide open touchdown.
Right.
But hey, both of them have been playing well. Ginn's a very good surprise player, so let's not hate on them too much. 7-3, and they're getting it done. So.
All right, so let's talk about keys to the game tonight. Patriots versus the Carolina. I talked to a lot of fans before we were walking up, and on Twitter we were talking. And it seems like the idea is put a lot of pressure on Brady, hit him early, get him roughed up. And for Cam Newton, he just has to play where he doesn't lose the game. You know, he can't afford to have one of his okay games where he's thrown a little high or a little short.
Yeah.
But if Cam plays just, efficient, then they'll win tonight. And I kind of feel the same about that. If Cam plays efficient, the defense is always great. They'll be good. But if Cam doesn't, I think Tom is a guy that will certainly capitalize on a mistake and put us behind.
Yeah, Cam's definitely going to need. I think the key for Cam is to get out there. He may have a little nerves, little butterflies on a national primetime game like this, but to get out there, maybe hit a couple of nice quick passes, easy passes to get him in a rhythm so he'll settle down, because we've seen when he's a little fired up, a little riled up, he overthrows players like you talked about. So he needs to settle into a rhythm, control the game, and definitely that offense can control the game not only with Cam but with that run game. I think a key player tonight, keep an eye on, is Jonathan Stewart. He's fresher than the other two backs because he hasn't been playing as many games. I think he comes back with a hard-nosed runner like him. He can definitely control the time of possession, because, Chris, the last thing you said is the most important thing for this game tonight. His name is Tom Brady. So you can sit there and say, hey, we got the best defense, if not the best defense in the league. Hey, we're going to go out there. Our front seven's going to sack him. We're going to shut him down. But we're talking about Tom Brady, probably maybe the best quarterback of all time, if not one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
He's definitely one of the top of his generation.
We need to watch out for him, because you talk about getting into him and get sacks. I think the front four will get pressure, but the thing that Tom Brady and this New England Patriots offense like to do is throw those quick, short passes so you don't have the time to get back there even if you have a good pass rush. So you got to watch those screens, those short slants, all those kind of stuff that he lived off with Wes Welker last year. Those are the kind of things you got to shut down. And then the big factor, Rob Gronkowski is tight end. The Panthers have had trouble covering tight ends in the past. We saw it in the first half against Atlanta a couple weeks ago.
How healthy is Gronk right now?
He's back. I think he's back finally. You look at the 2 weeks ago or last week before the bye, the Patriots put up 55 points against the Steelers, and that's because they had Gronkowski back. They get Shane Vereen. I told you coming up here, Chris, tonight is the first night that the New England Patriots have their full weapons on offense, and it's going to be key to watch. The key matchup we talked about, Luke, him covering Rob Gronkowski. If he can help shut him down, they made adjustments in the second half to shut down Tony Gonzalez in the Atlanta game. If they can do that to Gronkowski, I think they got a good shot to win.
About Cam, I've been sick, but I'm going to make it through, is that Coach Rivera talks about Cam as being excited before the game. Do you think that's true? Do you think he's excited, or do you think Coach is making excuses?
Absolutely, he's excited. Who in that locker room is not excited?
I mean, before games like tonight, though, and in previous weeks, he's talked about Cam needing to settle down.
Yeah, definitely. As far as being maybe overexcited a little bit, definitely. We saw that in the San Francisco game. He came out and threw an interception, threw a couple passes high, but we see it in the game. Once he gets in a rhythm, hits a couple passes, maybe breaks off one of his patented runs, that's when he settles into a game, and that's going to be the key tonight, because you said it, Chris. Last week, they did have a turnover in the interception and made a fumble, and San Francisco didn't capitalize. But if you turn the ball over tonight and you give it to a guy like Tom Brady, he's going to make you pay. So turnovers, ball control is great. So they definitely need to control that clock, try to keep Tom Brady off the field.
All right. Well, we wanted to give you guys a little bit of an extended pregame show tonight. Dustin has tons of information. And please, if you haven't already, we're going to be on Twitter all night at Charlotte Vibe, taking your questions and corresponding with you. Also, about an hour after the game, we'll be able to have our post-game video where we're going to have player interviews. So if you have questions about the game, whether it's Tom Brady, Cam Newton, whoever, excuse me, let us know, and we'll get into the locker room and talk to those guys and have the video up for you. So once again, it's Dustin Phifer.
Before we start, I hate to cut you off, Chris, but prediction, who you got tonight? Got to put it on camera.
Prediction will be the can I make it conditional?
Go ahead.
If Cam Newton is efficient, few turnovers. I'll give him one turnover.
Okay.
We win the game. It's going to be a close one. But if he doesn't, I think our defense is just going to get tired.
You're right. It's going to be a close one. I'm going to predict. I think the Panthers are on a roll. I think they're at home. Their defense is playing lights out. I think Cam is going to show up on the national stage and play a good game. I have the Panthers winning. Like you said, it's going to be a close one. I think it'll be a one-possession game late in the fourth quarter. But I think the Panthers are going to get it done.
Hey, why don't you go ahead and wrap us up?
Hey, this is Dustin Phifer. This is Chris Jenkins. We're right outside of Bank of America Stadium for Monday Night Football, reporting for CharlotteVibe.com.
Time to pack up and go in?
Time to go in and get something to eat.
See you guys.